Hello everybody, I'm here once again, and I'm back again with another requested toy review. This time, this figure is requested by Kaijucoby, so here's the review. I hope you like it. But in any case, this is the review of the Poppy Bemstar, or I would be saying it's a Poppy Bemstar, but I actually think it's more likely that it's actually the Mattel release in the United States under the Godzilla's Gang line, which ironically had almost no Godzilla monsters. I think. No, there was only Godzilla himself, that's it. So, it's a kind of an irony, but whatever. So, here's the figure. I obtained this figure about 4 years ago through a trade on YouTube with a user that I actually forgot the name of, so that's kind of upsetting. But in any case, this is the figure, and let's get on with the review. Bandai Bemstar, eat your heart out, because this is the actual good, or this is the actually good Bemstar mold. The face of the Poppy Bemstar has always been really intriguing to me because it's a lot better in the Bandai release, which is kind of kind of impressive. Because the Bandai release is, well, because Bandai stuff is usually better than Poppy stuff. Some of Poppy's figures are actually nightmare fuel, like say the Poppy Godzilla. That thing looks like a hairless chicken. But in any case, this is the figure. Some parts of the sculpt are not all that great. For example, the stomach area could have used a little bit more work. Like they actually could have tried. But in any case, it looks fairly okay. It's one of Poppy's better sculpts, at the very least. On the bottom of the feet, it's something that I really like to see from Poppy figures. It's the footprint of the monster, so if you have some clay or whatever, you can stomp it on there and it actually leaves a footprint. And Poppy actually has a very nice sense of humor when it comes to these footprints, because for the Poppy Zazan from Return of Ultraman, the footprint is actually a boot, because the kaiju never actually showed his legs. And the actor was wearing boots because they were fighting in the water area. On the left butt cheek, the copyright is written Suburaya Puro, Bemstar, made in Taiwan, and Poppy. So that basically wraps off all the sculpted details on this figure, and it's kind of unfortunate that the paint scheme looks pretty terrible. Bemstar was not this green, it was mostly gray, so I'm not going to criticize it on how inaccurate the paint is, but I'm going to say that it does look kind of awkward and a little bit really too stand out. And one of the other issues I have with the figure is what appears to be rusting bronze on its eyes. There seems to be this metallic green color, cover all over the eyes and the teeth, and it looks really awkward and I have really no clue where it came from. And that basically sums up the entirety of the detail in the paint job. Speaking of articulation, the Bandai basically matches this thing in terms of its movement, except this one I think it's a little bit better. Again, the arms both rotate about a little bit. Because of the way it's cut up here with the shoulders, it doesn't actually rotate 360 degrees. It actually gets stuck around the shoulders like so. Or, yeah. And finally, the head rotates. Unfortunately, the head is on kind of a weird peg, so. But in any case, it rotates 360 degrees, no issues whatsoever. Moving on to sizing, the figure is actually very short, so there's not going to be a lot of Ultra Monster figures that you can actually pair up with it to make it look even slightly natural. Some of the undersized figures do work fairly well in this example, however. For example, Super COV pairs up very well with Bemstar, except still a little bit too short, and it's this kind of the same deal with Geranda. So fortunately, nowadays, this is when Poppy figures are really making a comeback, because Bandai has started their Ultra Monster 500 line, and since I have Snowgone handy, all of my the rest of my figures went off somewhere. It actually doesn't look too bad. These two look fairly okay next to each other. However, that doesn't really excuse the Ultra Monster 500 for their shoddy figure work. So in the end, I give this figure a very guaranteed 5 out of 5. There's really nothing wrong with the figure. If you know what you're getting yourself into when it comes to Poppy figures, then there's, you really have nothing to worry about. The figure is very basic. It's got the decent amount of articulation that you would expect from a Bemstar-like figurine. The sculpt work is acceptable, if not even better than the Bandai copy. And the only thing that I really have a problem with is with the really dull and uninteresting paint job. But that's just a personal note, and that's also something that you really can't fault Poppies for. So that's why it gets a 5 out of 5. If you really like the character, if you really like Return of Ultraman, if you like pulpy stuff, this is definitely a figure that you will want to check out. And if you're not a fan of any of the above, I'd say buy it if you want to. But yeah, that's about it. The final score again is a 5 out of 5. This is Night, and I will see you guys next time.